You put all the good. Hey, you put all the good stuff up.
Yeah, that's a special thought.
Is your daughter in Morgan down there?
My oldest?
One of
Yes,
them.
it's the same thing. Gerald's.
Which one worked out Northgate?
No.
Yeah, she's still Northgate.
Yeah, Kenzie, my oldest, is working dog with
Well, I was thinking it was
No, Carly's still at IT.
was she the one? Well, I think I'm confusing one of them.
Yeah, that's Carly. Carly.
Yeah, I know they said it replaced her.
Yeah, Kate, the one
Got it.
Jenny Woolman Province.
Yeah.
Lives up on Blue Sky.
No, exactly.
Yeah, Carly's Carly smart. Was there anything else today that I missed?
Nothing exciting.
No, this is what you all did tonight. That's what I would say. Yep.
Lunch?
No, we didn't have lunch. We had the meeting right here.
I wanted to.
They were here less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I went to this board. It's good.
I'm
That means I would like it to be.
I just wasn't seeing that.
That's always a good one.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Long time no see.
Steve, would you visit the applicant's swimming pool at the red?
I actually had seen him do it. I was,
Well, evidently, that was their thought, because he's kind of fixed it up a little bit, so thank you. I had 5 people on there.
that's Dr.
Is it?
I didn't want him on this.
The orthopedic.
I thought he was still
Right
at,
off-
Big John.
Excuse me, he's right off the hill, right? Steve? Chestnut? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't do one. I know, everybody was all in and out. I was like, calm down.
Especially this all white.
Well, they're used to that, you know, everybody having to buy dogs. Now they see it.
Stuck up there. Say it's cold. I thought it was cold. You need to be more
I can't even remember.
I think it's cold too, but I never.
Besides, Sherry, tell them we can't smoke the paper.
Sorry, man. I tell you that. Oh, she's
I'm still
fast.
saying the window.
You got a little break down the road.
She's still on
Do a little wreck.
We're about to say I can do this.
Hurry up.
Another one.
Hurry up.
The guy put
They were-
What was going on at Lowe's last night?
My grandmother was saying,
Yeah, I
is
came
it
out.
cold? And I feel like my skin.
You went out?
Like,
There was cops, fire trucks. I was on fast light.
Yeah,
About 6:37. Parking office.
Yeah, they were
Right. Cops, fire truck.
Yeah, I think he shot the stuff in cold.
Opera.
Okay, I chased his down. I didn't go in none of my business. I was seeing a lot going on. A lot of lights.
hasn't been wet.
I know, that's what we're in.
But I wasn't over there. I just
You got this.
Got a mess going on.
I do, they're all tied up in cars.
That must have a bad wreck up there.
I got set pedestrians.
Yeah, that's what it said. That's not good.
Somebody came down there with no headlights on. You ready? You ready, Trina?
Yes, sir.
Call the meeting order. If you call the roll, please, Trina.
Councilman Sabo,
Present.
Councilman Wolford,
Here.
Councilman DeFlippia,
Here.
Councilman Hudson,
Here.
Councilman Strider, Councilman Lilly, Councilman Weimer,
Here.
Councilwoman Walker,
Here.
Mayor Mullins,
Here.
Derek Warren.
Thank you. Y'all please stand. Councilman Ryan, please, the word of prayer.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together here this evening. We thank you, dear God, for the season that we're going into. Let us be thankful for what we have, and only through you that we have all the blessings that we have, dear God. We ask you to be with us in our meeting tonight. With each thing is said and done. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Thank you, council. Please remain standing and pledge allegiance. Trina.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
Need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, please. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. City's monthly financial statement.
Make a motion to accept it as filed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Walker. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Trina, make a note that Adam's here.
But he's sorry.
I'm just trying to
Santa's watching us. Can't be late here, you'll miss it.
Where am I at? Did we vote on that?
We did.
Okay, all right. Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Item A is to recognize Steve, is it Kepsel?
Council.
Kepsel? Mr. Kepsel, will you come to the microphone, please? Canal Valley Disc Golf Association. The floor is yours, sir.
What I'm asking to do is I'm just trying to make sure that the board is aware of how much disc golf has grown in the area. Little Creek was the birthplace of disc golf 10 years ago, 9 holes. Since that time, Redeemer was born. Redeemer now has 54 holes. Wine Cellar was born a year after that, Dunbar. St. Albans was born right after that. Coonskin the next year, Wine Cellar went back to add another 18 holes. Valley Park, which is just outside in Putnam County right now at the wave pool, has now got 18 holes. City Park in Dunbar, I worked with the mayor just the last month and put in another disc golf course in City Park, and that has just got a tremendous amount of play. And currently, Canal State Forest is under construction right now. Again, if anybody's not familiar with disc golf is really this simple. It's disc golf with discs. So there are a driver, really simple, a driver, if you want to go far, a mid-range, kind of like an iron, and then a putter, just if you want to put it in, that's simple. Now the reason I bring that up, with that disc golf, kids can play the sport, really simple. There's kids that can't do football, can't do basketball, but everybody can play disc golf. Again, just to bring that up. Just helps us over at Dunbar, at City Park, and Wine Cellar, the mayor wanted that because, again, problems with drugs in the park. Since disc golf has come into those 2 parks, that really hasn't went away. That play has pushed that out the door. And then, again, tournaments. We host the biggest tournament at 3 different parks. Hopefully, with Gerald's help, we are going to push in Little Creek Park into that tournament this year. 2013, first annual spring fling, we had 28 players. 14, we had 22 players, went to 88 players, then the next year 109, then 140. Last year we were at 172 players, bringing them in from Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan, all different states just to play that tournament. So disc golf goes any and every way. So I'm just here really just to spread that word. Again, there's still a lot of people who don't know what disc golf is, but it is the fastest growing sport. I know everybody can't see this, but you can pretty much see that graph. Disc golf is the fastest growing sport there is in America, flat out.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
I'm
glad we sparked all that interest.
So that's the reason I'm here, just to just kind of pass that word.
See, we started at 9, but didn't we go to 18 holes a little
You're
bit?
at not 18 holes.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the more things we have people to do, the better. So it's good.
I appreciate your time.
Sure, absolutely. You guys have any questions? Anybody have any questions for Steve? Okay, thanks, Steve. Appreciate you. Okay. Item B is to approve the poll workers for the 2020 levy election. Is there a motion to do so?
I make a motion.
Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Seibold. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item C, if you'd read the resolution, please. Trina.
Resolution to authorize the amendment of an agreement with the South Charleston Development Authority regarding development activities and funding for the operation of the South Charleston Development Authority.
Yeah, it's talked about in the finance meeting. There's some house cleaning that Huntington Bank requires. So let me get a motion to get it on the floor first. Is there a motion to approve the resolution? Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Hudson. Any discuss, Karen, you have any comments?
I don't know what you had to say in Finance Committee, but I can share that the reason why we're doing this is because the Development Authority is trying to purchase the Cambridge Center property. The bank has required some additional assurances because our funding to the Development Authority is $170,000 a year, and that is enough to satisfy the interest only, but not the $2.6 million in debt. And so they've asked that we have this agreement that the city will cover any shortfall, if any, ever occurs for the Development Authority's acquisitions if the city exceeds to a term sheet and agrees to a term sheet, which is your next resolution.
Yeah, which nothing's changed, as I mentioned, everything's the same, the money's the same,
It's a
rates the
commitment to
same,
support
everything's the
development
same.
and
It's just-
redevelopment of the city.
This is just house cleaning language that the bank requires, honey
Yep.
requires. Okay, any other questions or comments on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Item D, if you'd read the resolution, Trina.
Resolution approving bank term sheet regarding a proposal by the South Charleston Development Authority to purchase real property located at 90 McCorkle Avenue.
As Karen just explained, is there a motion to approve this resolution? Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by, who was that? Adam, was that? Councilman Strider? Any discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Item E, if you'd read the resolution, please, Trina.
Resolution authorizing negotiations with Alliance Solar Green LLC for solar energy power system lease agreement and related licenses and agreements.
Is there a motion to accept this resolution? Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lilly. Again, this just authorizes me to sign it if we strike a deal with the negotiations, as we explained in finance. This is our last council meeting in 2019, and it's time sensitive for the company, not for us. So we'll see where it goes. So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Consideration of any bids, Councilman Simon.
None this evening, sir.
We're straight to department heads. Department head reports. Gerald, we'll do yours last about the holiday schedule.
Oh, okay.
So don't let me forget and get out of here. Does anybody have anything? I know, Chief, you do, Steve?
Mayor report, the chief does. Just wanted to report to council, for our MS4 stormwater permit, I have to report report once a year that I have reviewed the city stormwater ordinance, and I have no recommendations for any modifications to the ordinance at this time.
Okay.
That satisfies the permit requirement in itself. So.
Well, I'm gonna compliment both of you now that you mentioned that with all the rain we just had. Having that job for all those years I had it, I remember the challenges we had. The preventive maintenance work that these guys have done that's cut down on our flooding in our community has been amazing. I mean, where we were at a decade ago to where we're at now, we just had, what was it, 3 inches of rain in a couple of days or something? I didn't have, I think I only had one, only know of one. I don't think it was even related to that. Of a basement flooding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spring Hill, my goodness, we used to get them every rain practically, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So the preventive maintenance stuff that we've done has really helped. They're never going to solve flooding. It's going to always be there, but we've sure limited it a little bit. So congratulations, you guys, on that. Keep that up, that preventive work. Anybody else got anything? Chief, I know you do. I guess we're going to give you the floor.
Okay,
All right.
I'm still waiting on guys at their head on. They threw my whole scheme of order out, I'm a little confused. I'm gonna start with Captain Raider has got another one of our, I won't call him a guest, I'll call him a dear friend. Rudy is back from Walmart, and Captain Raider, you take care of everything with Rudy, please.
Come on, that's his check. Ain't mine, ain't ours until he gives it to us.
Yeah, come on up.
You just brought a big check.
I did, I'm bringing a bigger one.
My goodness.
Take it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna let Rudy explain it, but Rudy's the store manager for Walmart 2036, our Southridge Walmart. Huge, high-volume store in this market, in the state, everywhere. It's, you know, you can talk to anybody from Bentonville, Arkansas, they'll tell you 2036 one of their top-performing stores anywhere and everywhere, and that's in no small part to Rudy and his leadership. I've known him for years. He does a great job with his employees and the clientele that he has out there. And, you know, we won't go into any of that, but he does a super job. I want to tell y'all something about Rudy. When we and this is through the efforts of the FOP as well. When you go through and you want to try to do things and get things done through businesses, and you want to, you're a little hesitant, you don't really want to go and ask for money or solicit for money. It's a hard thing to do, especially in times when they're tough, to go to a business owner and ask for money or a donation, something for something tangible that they may not ever see. But that's not the case with Rudy and Walmart. They come to us. They come to us wanting to give us money. They've done it for years with Shop with a Cop. And most recently, and I'll let Rudy explain a little bit further, but they wanted to donate to another state agency that they just couldn't get through the red tape, which I think they finally are going to get through the red tape. But his people in Bentonville, Arkansas, home office for Walmart, said, well, who's been helping with this? I said, well, you're not going to believe this, but it's another police officer from another agency. He said, you're kidding. I said, no, he's been real helpful. He's trying to cut through some of that tape. He said, well, what do they need? Now you think about that. Some guy that I've never met, I'm not sure Rudy's ever met.
One person.
Says, well, what do they need? So, well, they would like to restart their canine program. It kind of fell by the wayside after some years, and we've thrown it around, but then we get down people, and then we start talking about it again, and then we have to give another test to hire, so we just never make any headway. Well, Rudy went to him, and bing, boom, there it was. He said, hey, you got a $12,000 check coming your way. So I'll give the floor to Rudy, and then I want to say something after that.
Well, thank you, Captain. I can't say enough about the South Charleston Police Department and the partnership that they've had with Walmart. And they've always been there for us and really supported us. And Walmart, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again, we really want to rise up in the community, and we really want to give back. And what better way to do that than support something like this? I know it's something that we've talked about, that you guys have wanted, and I've got to give a lot of credit to Walmart Corporation and our home office of just the generosity of doing this and impacting communities, and that's what it's about for us. It's really about reaching the communities, impacting them, and I'm just honored to be a part of it and be able to stand here today and present this check.
Wow.
Isn't that something? $12,000. I never asked. He came to us. So with that, I would be remiss if I wasn't able to give something back to Rudy for, he knows I know why he's laughing. But this is just a small token of our appreciation and how we feel about you. I mean, in 25 years, I've dealt with a lot of Walmart managers, and some of them took themselves way too serious. So I'm glad to have somebody like Rudy who knows the struggle. He's a working man, and that goes a long way with us. So I'm proud to present it with this.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's a good trade. We got the better deal.
That's amazing. You're living the sparkle, aren't you, Rudy? Like your commercial. Yeah. That's right.
How ironic is the city treasurer taking a picture of that?
I know. She wants a check. That's right. The money.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Chief?
So that's going to redo the canine.
Bring the canine unit right in.
What, first of all, Shop with Cop, big success. Thanks to Rudy and the city and some others. We had a great time. Everything was good. Jamie and Kent were there. We had a real good time. We had about 38 kids. Everybody had a blast. Hannah has mastered how to do the money now. We were out there on time, early. Her and Captain Raider worked the registers, is what I say, but it went real smooth. It was real good.
The pictures were good.
Okay. I got some awards I want to give. I've sort of drug them out to the end of the year. I'm looking to see who's here and who's not. Let's do these. Let me open them up. Captain Raider's going to read some of these narratives. Let's start with Winston's. Let me find his.
Okay, I'm going to stand at the podium.
Okay. Come on up, Winston. We had done this, the fire department had honored him as well, and we just wanted to go ahead as well. We sort of planned these for the end of the year. This, we had him up here a couple weeks ago, a month or so about a fire, but his commander wrote a letter, and just read it, Pat, please.
Okay, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, it's a little wordy, but, on February the 16th, 2019, at or near 7:19 hours, it's, from Sergeant Howe, who's been with the department for over, 21 years. So I was advised by, Metro, that's communications, of a structure fire at 835 Baird Street, and advised that volunteer fire department were being, dispatched. They were advised by Metro that there were 2 children that were in the house and 2 elderly disabled persons trying to make their way out. This says himself and Patrolman Lloyd both marked en route, and Lloyd marked on scene and was the first emergency responder on the scene. Lloyd stated the house was fully involved and he saw someone throw a small child out of one of the windows of the residence to a person outside. He ran towards the back of the house and found an elderly female near the back door inside the house on the floor. Patrolman Lloyd states that he ran inside the residence to the female and began dragging her out of the house, eventually pulling her away from the house to safety. He goes on to say, in my opinion, Patrolman Lloyd went above and beyond the call of duty by entering a burning structure to save the life of another by pulling her clear from the house. Sergeant Howe goes on to say that as he was arriving, he could for himself see the flame shooting from the roof of the house, and his bottom paragraph asks that this go in his personnel file, which it has, and he be formally recognized.
Proud of you, buddy.
Yes, sir, very proud of
I
you.
mean,
Congratulations.
That's the kind of stuff we like being done. You don't get to practice for that. You just got to do it. And it speaks volumes.
That's a hell of a job.
Thank you. Dave, shoot, Chris, come on. Let's take this box so I can get rid of some of these. These 2 guys were recognized by the fire marshal's office, and it was mentioned in a previous meeting. They responded to a fire on Ohio Avenue, correct, Pat?
Yes.
Okay, read that. This is Corporal Davis, hopefully soon to be Sergeant, and Corporal Withrow.
This is a letter from Chief White. It says a summary of a fire at 4815 Ohio Street in which 2 occupants and their dog was rescued. This is a job well done by all agencies involved, SCFD, SCPD, Kanawha County Emergency Management, and EMS. It says on July 24, 2019 at 0:45 a.m. the South Charleston Fire Department was dispatched for a working structure fire with entrapment. It was immediately updated that occupants were on the 2nd floor in the rear on a balcony trapped. South Charleston Police confirmed the working fire and entrapment. Engine 652 with a crew of 2 consisted of Lieutenant Tony Hess and firefighter Josh Huffman. From time of dispatch to arrival scene was 3 minutes. That's amazing. Lieutenant Hess, while conducting his rolling size up, advised of heavy fire in the front of the residence that was rapidly traveling throughout the house towards the rear. Firefighter Huffman pulled 2 lines and charged them, start suppression to the front, while Lieutenant Hess deployed 2 ladders to the rear of the structure. With assistance from Corporal Aaron Davis and Patrolman Chris Withrow, the ladders were raised. Hess and Withrow immediately ascended. Patrolman Withrow was on the balcony to get the occupants and their dog to safety, and there were no injuries, and the fire was extinguished in a timely manner.
Take your box.
Pat, give me 2 out there. Pat, give me 2 out there.
No.
Bring those. Chris, come on up.
I got
I'm gonna let these guys talk a little bit about this but I'll tell you my version of it. It's September 13th. It's the day before I get married, and I go out to my city car to try to find something in the car. I'm in a panic, and I hear a chase. The best of my memory, the Metro Drug Unit started a chase in cross lanes that went through the interstate, went into our city and out of our city. We had some cars involved, and I'm sitting in the driveway listening and wondering, and they end up crashing near Old Kelly's men's shop, correct? Yes. And they bailed out. These guys were from Akron, Ohio, and one guy, I don't know, I guess just in the excitement of the crash and the excitement of trying to get away, jumped into the Elk River. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I guess he didn't realize he could not swim. He got out in the water over his head, and the commander of the drug unit had called me and said he went under twice when these two guys went in partial uniforms and saved his life. It was just amazing. The commander of the drug unit called me instantly. He was like, those guys just didn't hesitate. If he'd have went under the third time, he wouldn't have lived. And, you know, there you are chasing a guy. You want to arrest him. He's a criminal. He's a drug dealer and everything else. And then you got to just switch modes instantly and maybe shed a gun belt and jump in the water. And they just did a fabulous job. Do you guys have anything to add to that? Is that pretty much how it is? I'll mix these awards up. I had a hell of a time with this catalog. This is what they look like. Take 2 boxes, Davis. Yes, 2 boxes.
And getting ready to win our fantasy football.
I'm proud of these guys.
Proud of them
You
too.
should be.
Should be.
You know, I got these guys up here, and I've had other guys. I tell you, we've had an incredible year. We're really doing the things that I want us to do, and you can't teach it. You can't teach it. You honestly can't. It's just got to come from the heart, and some of these guys just do a fabulous job, and the majority of them do. They really do. We're really starting to gel. We're really starting to come together, and it just makes you proud. And that I can honor a lot more guys, and then I got to start doing it more. I sort of slacked off. I got to start doing it more and recognizing them more. But I really got a quality department. I'm gonna go out of order here. Pete, come on, buddy. Had to drag him in here from the job tonight, and I want to tell you, everybody works hard, but this is Eric Peterson. He just brings his A game every day, every day. I mean, whether it's something simple, he brings his A game. He doesn't get wrapped up in, you know, he gets wrapped up in anything. The small things, the big things. Hell of a daggone drug guy and can make a mountain out of a molehill, and he's just got a knack that's incredible. He worked in street crime for a long time, and he's out on the road now, and he's teaching a lot of the young guys. And he just, I was talking to one of the soon-to-be lieutenants, Dave, and he was telling me he just, every day they talk about it. And I want to recognize that. And see, I mixed it up. This says A-game award. Day in and day out, he brings his A-game, and he does. He's a strong, if I was talking about baseball or football teams and we had to trade him, we'd suffer. We'd suffer big time. I love all the work.
Take the box.
Is there something in there?
This is it.
Huh?
This is it.
Is there something here? I still got it.
Yeah, that's broadcast.
We got it on camera, that's for sure.
I was thinking of that exact same thing.
Hey, these next two, you guys come up together. Kevin King, will you come up here? I got this email. I don't always hear about things. And I got this email from the deputy chief at Charleston. I'm going to read it. It says, this is Sergeant Allen and Patrolman King. When a police officer does wrong, the public is quick to judge. However, when an officer does good, people in the community hardly recognize it. Well, today has been a rough day. Actually, a rough couple weeks, and it's finally took its toll on me. I'll leave this lady's name out. My daughter was out of pull-ups. It was a nightmare trying to get her to go to the potty. I didn't have the money coming in at all until next week, so I was left with no choice. I knew I wasn't going to steal them, so I decided to make a call. I didn't know if it would help or not, but I called the South Charleston Police Department and to see if there was anything they could do to help me get pull-ups. Either way, they took my name and number, and within a few minutes, a call came across my phone, and it was Officer King. He met me, said he would meet me at Southridge Walmart to get the pull-ups for my daughter. When he got there, he was just so kind and basically understood the struggle. He bought the pull-ups, which only needed one pack, but he took it upon himself to get 4 packs to get me through. Walked me out to the car, carried those. We talked a bit. His exact words were to me, hope everything works out for you. Keep your head up. It will get better. Just keep moving forward. When I offered to pay him back, when I was able to, he said, just take care of yourself and the baby. That payment's enough for me. I'm so thankful for his act of kindness. I didn't take a picture of him while he was there doing it because I didn't know if I was going to post it or not, because I thought it would make myself look bad as a parent. But honestly, all this shows how people can be kind, and no matter what, someone is willing to help you. She wants to thank Brandon, Keene, and the South Charleston Police Department. I have Kevin up here because Kevin, they pulled their money on their own money, and got this lady these pull-ups, and that story spread. And these are the kind acts that you can't teach. They just do great things. This is humanitarian award for Brandon King.
He wants to take the box.
Take the box. He's a quick learner.
We started our uphill battle in 2007.
Yes, we
Did we not?
Yes, we did.
We hired a guy standing right there that I knew his daughter had faith in him. She was what, Kevin? 9?
Yeah.
She was 9 then. She sung his praise when we hired him. She told me he's going to be one of the greatest that we ever had. Well, he come out, guns on fire, and one of my buddies took over the drug unit, and we were going to put somebody back in it. We were building it up, and it's been a couple years, and we did some interviews, and I let Chad Napper pick, and he picked Kevin, and almost a decade, Kevin was there out of sight, doing just incredible work. I can't begin to tell you. I'm going to put him on the spot here in a minute to tell just a couple of the stories. I know one night he worked a case that it just, drugs just aren't made and manufactured right here in Charleston. You got to go to South Charleston, Canal Valley. You got to go a little bit everywhere. But I got a little bit involved in this one, and they followed a car to Pittsburgh, had a tracker on it, and followed the dope back here, and it was probably the highest grade marijuana that had come into the state in some time. It was probably a pound, probably cost $6 grand, something like that. Close, Kevin, am I right?
Yes, sir.
We ended up getting like 58 pounds and a load of money going back to Pittsburgh, and made the connection. And that case sort of started right here in South Charleston with a traffic stop that Officer Withrow did at the 7-Eleven down on the Chestnut. So Kevin got Chris involved in that and worked that. I put a guy in prison, a young boy in prison for crack cocaine back in the 90s. And they changed the sentencing laws and he got out a little quicker. Well, he got right into business even bigger and better. And Kevin just saw him one day, didn't know him, didn't know he was ex-con, and correct me if I don't tell this right, and started following him, put a pole camera up. Long story short, in a matter of a couple months, we seized 5 or 6 vehicles. We seized the largest amount of hard narcotics seized in West Virginia at that time. How many pounds?
20 pounds of meth, 10 pounds of coke, 5 pounds of heroin, 4 pounds of fentanyl, 80,000 cash, 10 guns.
He could go on and tell stories. He got involved in a case in Nicholas County where the guy got wind of who he was and threatened him and everything else. We now have the money to match Rudy's 12 grand and some through seizure money, which a lot of it comes through the street crimes guys and patrol, but the bulk of it comes through this man seizing all this money and all this drugs. He worked it endless years. I'm talking about probably sitting at home, relaxing, the phone ringing, everybody getting mad at him because he had to get up and go. Just tell one story, one more good one, and then we'll stop. He didn't know he was getting this tonight.
I don't know any specific stories off the top of my head, Chief, but I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to go over there and do that. That was a good time. I gave it my best and worked really hard. There's a lot of stories. I'll have to think of one of them. Y'all catch me sometime and I'll tell them to you.
A lot of guys.
I'm not gonna be put on the spot.
A lot of guys come out of a special unit and they're burnt out. They're really tired because it just beats them down. But Kevin has come out, and the work he did over there, he's doing for our patrol division and our young guys, and it's fabulous. I've been in police for 40 years. Charleston actually started this Metro drug unit almost 30 years ago, and there was a pretty good guy, worked there for years, named Steve Harper, but he faded pretty quick. To quote one of Kevin's commanders, he's now the chief at the airport. He says he ran the drug unit for 4 years, 4.5. He says he's never, this includes federal, state, county, he's never seen a better drug officer than Kevin Allen. And I want to throw in with that. And with that said, I'll get you out of the limelight here. Kevin is getting an award. It's called the South Charleston PD Drug Investigator of the Decade, because he was over there that long. And I can't begin to tell you all the drugs he's kept out of our schools and everything else. And I couldn't recognize him because he was in plain clothes all that time. And I never could catch him. We'd talk on the phone or something because he was so busy. But I'm just so proud of him. He was so dedicated to that job. And the drug unit has suffered, and they'll say that since he's gone. They truly have. He was the Drew Brees or the Peyton Manning, or I don't know. He was the Tom Brady. I throw it in for Raiders. Sorry, Mary.
That's okay.
But well earned.
Take the box.
I gotta check. Is that box empty? Hey, I gotta tell you, and then I'll quit. I'm proud of these guys. We're really, we did that task force, and it was incredible. It was incredible. Those guys did an incredible job, and they're still getting information, and we're going to end up coming up with some more things out of that. We just got a lot of guys working. I know they don't get the appreciation enough, and I'm too busy and bullheaded sometimes, but so finally, we had this little thing tonight that they do a good job. They make us proud. They make me proud, and we built a pretty good daggone department. We're up to 50, most we've ever had, and with these bunch of guys, we're going to take it to the next level. I mean, we brought it up and we're gonna keep bringing it up because they want to. And I just like sit in the wagon and watch, really. They just, I yelled and screamed at them the first couple of years, and Crowder reminds me about it all the time and everything else. But I've mellowed out. They do a good job, and I'm proud of them. And like I say, I gave these guys awards, but there's probably a lot of others I've missed over the years. But that's all I got.
Chief, they do a great job. I'm proud of them too, every day. Thank you, Chief. Hey, okay, we're still on the department head report. Anybody have any, I want to do Gerald's last of this, so anybody have any more questions for any department heads? Does the department have any comments? I will tell you, we're going to lead into, I have declared Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve a holiday for our employees, so they'll get to enjoy their families for both Eves along with Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So with that being said, I'll let Gerald fill you guys in on refuge, on our garbage collection day, so you guys will know in case anybody in your wards has a question. Go ahead, Gerald.
We're gonna pick up on Monday, your normal route on Monday, and the whole city on Monday. We're gonna do the whole city Monday. We're gonna take all of our employees in the park and Public Works and pick up the whole city on Monday, so they can have Tuesday and Wednesday off.
Oh, that's
And
great.
then we'll go back to regular schedule on Thursday and Friday. And that's on both weeks.
And maybe for some of the newer councilmen, when he says they're going to do the whole city, the only difference is it's curbside. You know, we go behind the houses and set out ourselves, but when we do the whole city, we only have time to do curbside only. So they'll do curbside only for the Tuesday route on Monday, right, Gerald?
Right.
But you'll pull Monday's route, right?
And then
Okay.
do curbside on
Then we're back to normal on Thursday.
Right.
Are you gonna do the Santa?
And then on
collection?
Christmas Eve, all the residents, anybody has, if Santa leaves some boxes behind they'd like to get rid of before Christmas morning, they can take them out to Public Works. There's someone out there 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they'll be available to, I did it when my kids were young, you know, we threw stuff away at 1 o'clock in the morning. And so, and tell any of your constituents if they'd like to know, they're welcome to take the trash or take boxes that Santa leaves behind to Public Works, and we'll be able to dispose of it for them there. Okay? Anybody have anything else? Everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, enjoy your families and enjoy your holidays. I appreciate what you do.
Thanks for that. What a great way to have a meeting.
What a great way to have it. Your motion adjourned? Is there a second? All in favor? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Yes. Oh. Proud of it. Yeah, proud of it. I'm proud of it. I look out there just a minute ago, I see those guys who are not Did he not? Tore him up, huh? Good, how you doing? Good to see you.
I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the negotiations with the Alliance Solar Green LLC. Like, what happened? What is it? Why
Solar panels? Well, there's been a proposal for the solar company to do solar panels at the ice rink. Which ultimately, the proposal is that will ultimately save the solar in the long run on our bill, basically. So we produce energy from solar. Okay, I'm sorry. You
That's how
it'll look too.
you can tell by looking.
Alright, so just go ahead and talk about this.
So there's a solar company out there that's made a proposal to put in solar panels at our ice arena to help us kind of save some money and go green out there a little bit. And so use that alternative energy. So we're looking at that proposal. The federal government allows for certain tax incentives for these companies to get these things in. It has to be done in the year 2019. That tax incentive decreases a little bit as the years go by. So basically what we did tonight is city council members, the city council authorized me to sign a deal with this company to get it negotiated to where it's a financial win for the city. So that's what we're doing. And this is our last council meeting in 2019, so they'll give me authorization to move if we come to an agreement.
Okay, so you guys have to come to an agreement with the company?
Yes, with the company and make sure the financials work, make sure it's a financial win for the city. We'd like to do it. It's certainly use alternative energy is something we'd like to get into. so this is an opportunity for us to do it. We gotta make sure the numbers work.
And the council passed on the idea.
They gave me the authorization to sign the deal with the in layman's terms, yes.
So if this does go through, can we expect to see more, I guess, recreational type centers going green?
Yeah, maybe, we've tried to do a little bit of that, just do smaller things with the homes and things like that throughout city buildings and some of our HVA systems and things like that to be more green, like was that a phrase? This will be the biggest